Hi, I'm Kade,
And I'm Bobby.
and welcome to the Newstead Group's Explainer series.
So, Kate, conditional approvals. What can you tell me about conditional approvals?
Yeah, well, basically, conditional approvals when the banks reviewed your information and they've come back to the broker or back to the banker saying, hey, we want to know a little bit more about this. Now, this can be a few different things. It can be we want to know more about the income. We want to know more about the liabilities. We want to know more about these living expenses. A conditional approval is basically saying we support you borrowing money from us as long as you can provide this to evidence something.
Okay, so as far as the timeline goes, maybe first up you've got a pre-approval in place, then you find a property, you request to upgrade your pre-approval to a full approval with the bank, and then you get this conditional approval.
Yeah.
So what are some of the most common conditions that you see on a conditional approval letter?
Yeah, sure. So I think probably the biggest ones that we see are up-to-date payslips. Say you got a pre-approval a month ago or 2 months ago, and then you find a place, the bank still wants to make sure that you're still generating income. It might be something like a undisclosed liability, like a credit card. They pulled it up, but you might not have known that you had this little cheeky Harvey Norman card from a while ago, and the bank pulls it up while running a credit check, so they might request that. It could also be payslip deductions like salary sacrifice. It can be a range of things, but most of them are not overly concerning because the bank still supports your application for finance. They just need something else to clarify it, whether it be from a compliance perspective or from a lending perspective.
I suppose in some instances you might lodge an application under the condition that upon formal approval I will provide closure of such and such liability or this or that. So it's just meeting those conditions.
Yeah, so basically saying if you do this, we'll give you this. That's the bank's way of them basically saying that.
All right, fantastic. So what would be the next step after a conditional approval?
Yeah, so once you provided those conditions or those settlement conditions, so depending on how we phrase the timeline, like say you've got that Harvey Norman or whatever liability, it's $2,000 credit card as an example, and the bank says, if you pay this out at settlement, we'll fund the loan. So the next step from there is telling the bank or providing the bank with those documents or that information, and then preparing for settlement. And hopefully a formal approval comes through shortly, which is the process of the bank converting that conditional approval to a full approval, which is basically saying, we're going to give you the money.
Cool.
Yeah, that's conditional approval.